Thank you. Oh, can't do that. I almost switched to contacts today again. So close. I don't think your mic's on, Judy.
Could we stand and do the pledge, please?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Michael, it looks like you're up. You've got a couple of things on here we need to take care of this morning.
We do, Commissioner. The first item on the agenda is originates from the Executive Director of the Vigo County Juvenile Justice Center, and it is a resolution recommending the establishment of a non-reverting fund to capture the fees that the Juvenile Center collects from other jurisdictions from holding juvenile detainees, to establish a fund to provide for the maintenance, training of staff, safety, and security of the Vigo County Juvenile Justice Center. Mr. Loudermilk is here to answer any questions from the commissioners related to that, but the resolution provides that the fees from other jurisdictions and leaves the request to the non-reverting fund to their discretion. So it, the checks and balances, commissioners can establish a fund, but the decision whether any money goes into that lies with the council. And so I believe Mr. Loudermilk has talked to several members of the Common Council already about this, and this is just the first step in that process.
And I actually have had the discussion. He was very thorough about contacting people and letting them know what he was doing so we could think about it and do whatever. Brendan, do you have any questions about it?
No, and I'm okay with just go ahead and moving forward with it because it does put it in the council's hands.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Will do. Thank you.
Yeah, give it to Tammy. She'll put it on for him. Yeah, I have no questions on this. Like I said, I realize the need is great over there. It's greater than what I ever dreamed after going and touring and looking and listening to Norm and the concerns that he has. I don't have an issue with it. Do you want to make that motion?
Yeah, but why does this say confidential on it?
Because it's probably not.
Okay.
What this is just
Just comparison.
a document that was given to me, shared to the juvenile centers. Mr. Wright had asked me if I knew what the fees we were charging was comparable
I see.
to other cities, or other centers, and so I've done that. And
Yeah.
we're at the low end.
You are.
For what we charge. I'd like to discuss them, possibly raise that to 110, 115 to 125.
180.
Be able to be more competitive, but we're one of those.
You've got.
Okay.
Then how do you raise that? Do you do it on your own, or do you have to do that through the
No,
council?
we-
Well, see, that's
Something we
we're
talked
looking
about
into
this
that.
morning. My gut instinct was that it's without any sort of writing to the contrary. It is probably, anybody. They both entities have freedom of contract with being governmental entities. I don't think it would take any official action other than notifying those who are requesting our services that, hey, there's going to be a different rate on the invoice. But we talked about that this morning, and I'm going to confirm that beyond my gut instinct.
Well, while you're here, Norm.
Anytime we do fees, raise fees.
No, I mean, while you.
Anytime we do fees, we have to, they usually.
No, you're right in the normal scenario, but if you equate this to, a jail detainee,
Okay.
that is
That's
a
beyond
gentleman's
us.
agreement
That's right.
beyond under the control of between
Well-
the sheriffs, and I'm not
Right.
sure that in a juvenile detention setting, it would be a ton different, but I'm going to confirm it and
So if Norm wants to raise it to 180, he can do it, more than likely.
I think it would not be difficult.
Sure.
I think if that's true, then I would probably have John write some letter on official letterhead.
I'll give notice.
For sure.
He approved the fee.
You don't have in here how many you take a year out of county, do you?
I don't have those are just what other counties charge. The amount that we take, I can't tell you the number because some stay longer than others.
Sure.
I know that about 2 weeks ago, we deposited about $13,000 just for this year so far. COVID has slowed us down a bit, obviously.
Yeah.
But usually between 35 and 40,000 is what we're annually bringing.
For education purposes, when they come from out of county, they're being taught by Vigo County teachers.
Yes, everything. She got 6 credits while she was there.
And that transfers back.
Stayed in school. She ate the meals from the jail. Our teacher took care of her. Our
Sure.
medical took care of her. Yes, she used the teachers.
But an out of county student, whatever they learn here, will transfer back home without any issues.
Yeah, it's called Edmentum. It's the program that we have for school corporations, Title I. And those credits you get as long as you're in Indiana, it's 440. So it's all part of that process. So she actually was placed in another facility. And when she went there, her credits transferred. She came in as a late freshman. She left as an early junior.
Well, I found it interesting when we were talking that how while our school, our kids, my daughter, Michael's kids, they're at home right now. We're doing the packet, but the ones in the juvenile center, they're still getting that direct interaction.
Yeah, we have a Title I teacher, Gary Delmo, that oversees it. Our staff members go in and turn the computers on, get logged in. They're required to stay there to answer questions or help students.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the day, but we're still getting 6 hours of education a day, which is required by DOC, and
Sure.
we even have summer. So
It's pretty impressive, really. Okay. Well, I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve step 1 in the fund, recognizing that the next step will be up to the council to decide whether or not it moves forward, or it's funded.
And I
for that
would
matter.
second that.
Okay.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thanks, Norm.
Thank you.
The next item on the agenda is something that has been discussed previously on several occasions, the international paper property. If you recall, when the original lease was executed earlier this year, the reality of the situation was a little different in that the city of Terre Haute needed a substantial portion of the international paper property to deal with some issues surrounding their main lift station project to the south. And since that time, the circumstances have changed, and the city is no longer in a position where they need any portion of that property, and their plans for reestablishing the property in its original condition by removing the pile of dirt and putting that back where it goes, and grading and seeding the property is coming sooner than anybody thought at the time that the original lease was executed. So Luke Bow Incorporated, the entity that is proposing the establishment of the Mill Center and Amphitheater on the property, is requesting that the lease be revised to incorporate the new set of circumstances, in that his original plan for the property was to have at least parking available so those bigger events could be parked all on site. And that's what this lease provides. So it provides that a fence will be established along the entire frontage of Prairieton. The lease terms are the same as the prior lease, 5-year terms with options to renew for both sides. So, if there's any questions, I'd be happy to.
Yeah, just kind of lay it out a little simple as to, of the 64 acres?
Yes.
So is he leasing the whole thing with the exception of the building?
Yes.
Okay, that's,
The building west,
Yes.
from the building west.
The building and an access strip to the building so that the county, would have access to it.
oh yeah, we'd have to have access to the building, but I'm saying he's taking the rest of the property.
That's right. And
Yeah.
Myers Engineering has prepared a legal description accepting everything but the building and that access point. So,
And what is our lease agreement? I mean, what,
Well, all this says is expand the original one that we signed,
that's right.
which was the $1 per year for, you have it with you, just so you can, for the record.
Yeah, no, it's $1 per year for every year of the lease. And the
Renewable by either
renewal
party.
terms are
right,
conditioned
5-year.
upon the continued development of what he hopes will be a top flight.
And there will be
Okay.
no tax abatement. I mean, they'll pay their taxes when they,
The
They'll be taxed
lease
off the
provides
investment.
that they are responsible for all real estate taxes
Okay.
associated with the lease.
I'll say, because if they're going to lease it for that, we got to recoup something.
Michael, we've talked off and on about this. The dirt's going to be removed.
Yes.
That area is going to be returned to the way it was by when? Do we have an idea?
I have made and gone back and made contact with the individual who we co-hosting the contract.
I mean, is there something that would have an encouraged date or a projected timeline so that Tim can move forward, or is it just what it is?
Oh, I mean, I think Tim and his counsel are comfortable with what
Okay.
conversations they've had with the city.
And then if the city ramps this project back up and they need space again, they just got to find space somewhere else.
That's right.
Because they could do it on the other side of the road, probably,
Yeah,
on Card's property.
this revision, yes, would, any future ask would have to include the leasehold interest, so, I mean, Tim would have an opportunity the tenant would have an opportunity to look at and listen to whatever requests were being made, but
Could Tim, in essence, sublease that property?
not without the county's permission.
Okay. I wanted to make sure of that, because if the
that
city
was
does
one of the
come back and
important
they say,
things.
hey, we're going to pay you 10 grand a year
Uh-huh.
to go back on that spot, who gets that $10,000? Is it
Yeah.
the county? Is it Tim?
No, not unilaterally.
Okay. But you feel confident that everything's addressed in there
I do.
to protect our interest?
I do.
Okay, I know it's been a long project going, and we're all looking forward to the day of normalcy where we can hang out and listen to music outdoors. But I'll make a motion to go ahead and approve is it an amendment to the existing contract?
No, it
or
is just a new
new-
lease agreement.
A new lease agreement. Okay.
So
Is
you
that
made that
official enough?
motion?
Is that official enough, Karen? Yep, okay.
I'll second that motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Councilman Morris has a question. Is that allowed
Absolutely.
in this method? Okay. Can you come up to the podium, Mike? And then for the record, your name and all that stuff. You are being recorded, by the way.
Big one?
You are being recorded. I didn't know if you knew that or not.
That's fine.
Okay.
Mike Morris, 3205 Erie Canal Road,
Council President.
County Council President. So, does this agreement vary with what was talked about originally because it was part of the area?
The only variance, Mike, is when the lease was contemplated originally, the city was saying they needed for 2 years access to everything that was south of that main access road that essentially divides the property in half.
Yeah.
They needed that for a dewatering project associated with their sewer lift project.
Yeah.
That has since been abandoned as an idea. So they don't need anything south of that main access road that bisects International Paper, and the lease is being revised to allow the tenant access to that quicker than was originally thought because the city doesn't need it for 2 years.
Okay. And second question, there is 64 acres that you're going to lease to this entertainment company is environmentally safe for conducting events on?
Yeah, the property has a phase 1 and phase 2.
Okay. Phase 1, phase 2 on it.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
And then, so we're good. We've already voted. We've passed this.
Yep.
Just discussion. We worked out a deal where we allow them to place equipment to the west of the building. Does that remain since this project has changed?
It's still, the temporary construction easement is still in effect.
Okay.
But I don't doubt that the circumstances have changed such that it will probably be concluded sooner than originally thought.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine that they're out there. It's not going to impact anything, but
Right.
I just consider.
For sure.
Okay.
But we would have to give Tim,
Not on the building.
Not on the building.
on the,
Because
just the building.
No, on the building west, because he specifically carved that area out.
I know, the building and how many acres though?
I'm not sure.
It's not much besides the building and an access strip
To it.
back to, yes.
But there's a portion of that from the building west, and I say west, is probably technically southwest. It goes back to so many people thinking that that's right on the river. It's not. There's a big gap in
But
between.
isn't that the portion that we we gave to the city? The 3 some acres? That's the west of the big building?
We're allowing them to use it, but I don't think we transferred property over yet, did we?
There's a portion that was
we
transferred.
did.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There was a portion,
that was before any of this ever happened.
yeah, it's more to the southwest, but it was so the city could get, they've got a high-speed treatment facility
Right.
behind the building down.
Right.
When the river was up, they couldn't get to that access road. So
That gave them
a
access.
triangle was.
Yeah, we just
yeah.
sliced it off.
But there's still enough land if somebody wanted to approach us to say, hey, I'd like to do something with that building. We're still in the game where that's marketable. I guess that's kind of what I'm leaning towards.
Yeah.
Is that once Tim's venue gets going, if somebody wants to do something with that building, there is an opportunity there. Otherwise, we're just sitting on that albatross that we need to do something with. It's a beautiful building.
Well, yeah, and there is enough property because if you recall, when Tim first started this project, he was going to have the stage facing the river. So
Right.
there was plenty of space even after we had sold off those
Right.
acres to the city.
Yeah.
I keep saying sold, we gave.
But what is accepted in the lease is 2.45 acres. So that's the entire, I mean, the legal description provides that you're leasing everything but 2.45 acres.
Okay, so
that's
the building and then
And
the
the
surrounding is,
access.
which
okay.
still is a decent amount.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Mike, you had another question?
Yeah, something come up here, does this have consideration with the trail linkage still?
With the
This
what?
project, trail linkage to that
It's-
horseshoe and what have you?
It's down below. You talking about there's a bunch of trails projects going on right now.
And
Idaho
Well,
Street
originally, there was a trail linkage from Fairbanks Park to
to the DNR property.
right.
At the Oxbow. Yeah.
the Oxbow.
so
Is there still
The-
consideration of that?
Yes.
There's still easement for that?
fourth provision of the
Okay.
real estate lease says landlord desires to retain the strip for a connection to or continuation of a river walk available to the public at large.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Ideally, that trail will go to Fort Harrison. And I think we can make that one work, but that's another discussion.
Well, we don't own any of that property.
Here's what's interesting about that, though. It's still platted as roads down in the river bottoms. Remember that project we were working on, Larry? Because Larry and I were talking about it from his days with the city. There are actually roads down in the river bottoms that are still platted as roads. But they haven't been used as a road probably for 50 plus years. There used to be an old brick plant down there. So that there's an actual, I think we can do it. From what we looked at, there's going to be a challenge out by your area where the highways come together. You couldn't do it. But see, the DNR bought that ground down the bottom. And there's roads platted through there. We'll get her done. I don't want to do that. We will get it done. I almost said get her done.
Okay, Michael, is that all you've got?
That is all I had.
Okay. Let's go to our minutes. You have a copy of the minutes? Or have you looked at them online?
I read mine from the email that Karen sent.
Yep.
Very concise.
Did
April
you have any
28th minutes
questions?
to approve.
What's that, Jim?
They're April 28th minutes from last week.
Yeah. Is your microphone on? Yep, okay. Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from April 28th.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And we got claim docket for April 25th to May 1st for $244,712.09 and payroll of $970,391.52 for a total of $1,215,103.61.
So I don't have that printed. Do you have it, Judy?
What's that?
I don't have the claim docket.
Wasn't in your mailbox?
Well, can I look at yours real quick? If it was, I didn't pull it out. We're seeing an impact with the transportation of corpses right now, aren't we? See the increase from what we've had? Not to be grim.
We got that. Your emotions, right?
Tammy, are we moving forward with the lease payments on those Toyotas? They have, so we're getting the statements in? Okay. Make a motion to approve the docket for 4/30/2020.
I'll second that motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Do you have any comments, Brendan?
Well, I'll just touch on our return to work plan. I think today Judy and I and Michael and Kara and Joni will work on the steps for Monday. We have employees coming back, like stuff with masks and protocols, just the basic stuff.
Okay.
And then buildings are not to be open until the I'm getting my dates mixed up. 18th or the 24th?
24th to the public,
24th to the public,
is that right?
or 21st?
I've had so many dates thrown around, I
Yeah,
forget.
I do too. Buildings remain closed to the public until May 18th unless otherwise directed by us. But then we'll have protocols in place too. It's not going to be just a free-for-all thing. There'll be,
Right,
so we're gonna work on that this week. But employees, the official return to work is May 11th, 2020, unless otherwise directed by commissioners or direct supervisors. But it sounds like a lot of people are already back,
I say
ramping up.
most of them are already back.
Yeah. So we sent that email out and to all the employees. Media covered that too.
They do. We don't have anyone within our county employees that are off with this virus or any of that, do we? I just need a yes or no.
Yes. Yes, we probably do.
Okay, do we, has that department been,
Well, Michael, do you want to have some insight on that, or?
I don't know that it,
okay,
yeah.
it's not necessary.
Yeah.
I just wondered, I had
All the
not heard
contact,
anything.
the health department's done an incredible job with contact tracing and to ensure that people are quarantined as they should be and that they're getting the care that they need.
Okay,
Yes, we do have it set up that if anybody is affected by the coronavirus, any of our employees are, then they will be off work without disruption of pay.
yeah, I knew that, but I just had not, the health department doesn't tell me what they tell you, so. Okay,
Well,
that was my curious question. We have anything else?
Nope.
Hey, Nance, how are you doing?
I didn't even see her back.
Is
in there.
everything going all right? All your employees back? Okay. Cheryl? How you guys going? How's your office going? Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Larry, what you got? Anything? Working? That's good. Good to know. Scott, you good? Okay. I got a question afterwards for you, just a personal question, okay? Anybody else have anything? Mike?
There's still going to be regulations as far as how many people you can have in a room. So we'll make sure that you have that information before your meeting.
You guys can have your meeting and set like say we are, and some down here, you can regulate that. And as far as the public, you can do just like we're doing. You can have your meeting with all of you together, I think,
I
and
thought you were having 12. That's what we advertised.
This called me yesterday.
well, you wouldn't have the door policy problem anyway if you're doing it from here and it's televised or
But-
whatever.
The thing is, the issue is, and Michael, correct me if I'm off track here, the way that we're able to have these meetings now is business only, which is why I asked if it's okay for Mike to come up and talk, because with him being another public official, I think that that's allowed. But if you're not going to have discussions amongst the public during these meetings. This is for business only, to knock this kind of stuff out, and that's it. More than likely, you may still fall within that period. We'll have to verify that. If so, you guys can still meet. I think ideally what would work best is, as Judy mentioned, do you recall how we did the thing with Dr. Bruck in the health department? We had people up here and down there. We could probably set it up so you've got 2 levels so you can still have your spacing and still conduct your business. We'll make the facilities work, but it may be touchy on who you can have within in this environment.
Well, they couldn't have any public in. The public,
Yeah, we'll work on that.
I thought the governor addressed that.
I mean, the governor, the state attorney general, I mean, it's been discussed and guidance has been provided on several levels about what options are available for public officials during this emergency. And I don't know if the concern arises from, not allowing the public who may have issues that are to be brought before the council, not having them in the room, or, I don't know where the concerns originate from, I guess is my point. But there's a mechanism by which a meeting can be conducted
Right.
similar to
What we're doing right now.
Mm-hmm.
everybody
like-
may have their own feelings about how it should be, but I mean, the flexibility is there.
But the way I understood it, when he said this and they set up the guidelines, it's exactly what Brendan said. The council can come in here and do what's business on their agenda,
Business only.
business only, that they can vote yay and nay and all those kind of things. The public will not have an input.
Yeah,
And they shouldn't have, because you see, we don't have any public that's going to bring up new stuff, and they shouldn't have anything.
No, I think that's,
But that's also why we stalled on, before this hit, there were several things that we were looking at. We were looking at increasing the fines for littering, for example. And we have completely stopped discussing that
Right, because
because,
the public can't discuss it.
right, because we're doing business only. We're knocking out the invoices.
that's my only point, is that some of what the concern may originate from is the public can't be in there with you. Well, if that's the concern, there is nothing you can do to cure that problem right now.
Right.
The only way to do that is to wait it out and get back to when you can have, 25 people or whatever it is in the room. I think all the governor has said is that if you do have to limit capacity, try and prioritize media, people with official business on the agenda, or, how they get to be there.
Well, so actually, Mike, if you're going to have your meeting and not do it till after you can have 25 people, is that what, on the 19th, is it after the 19th or 18th, you can have 25 people? Need to figure out how to set people in here to keep them that far apart, and if you can't get 25 people in here, you'll have to limit it. And notify the ones that you need to be here to speak for it, I guess.
And, right now, the social gathering component for this period up until the 24th is up to 25 people, as long as social distancing's occurred. So realistically, if we carve out, I would say you'd have no more than 10 people in here for your meeting. So we can make that work. We can space the seats out. We can adjust, and then I think the other thing is a quarter of your occupancy. So this is rated at So 25 people anyway, based off that. So yeah, I would say it would work for the 19th. Is that what you're angling towards? Well, you could probably still do it on the 12th because it's within that period. Don't you think,
Yep.
Michael?
The public couldn't come into this building on the 12th.
Because we have it closed until the 18th.
That's right.
Okay, so the 19th then. But keep in mind, we decided the 18th.
No, that's right. I'm
Yeah,
saying,
we went above and beyond. As I've been sharing with a lot of people yesterday, the governor's orders are the minimum that we have to abide by. The county commissioners, within anything within Vigo County, can tighten that.
yes.
And we chose the 18th, giving our employees a full week to come back, reacclimate themselves, and reduce that potential exposure.
I think if the desire was for the council to have a meeting where some members of the public could come to talk about an issue and the media could be here, it would be the 19th. Under the current policy, unless that,
Anything prior to that would be hypocritical on our end.
I would view as hypocritical.
Yeah, I would too. We don't want to be hypocritical.
So you can have your meeting on the 19th with 25 public people in here. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, we put in policy the 18th to open the buildings up. And then the BZA meeting that we discussed earlier, that's going to be tomorrow, right?
That's remote, though. No public will be here.
I understand that.
Yeah, okay.
But they're going to have how many members? BZA is a big board.
One.
Oh, one person in here.
One person.
The
in
rest
here.
of them will be on. Let me clarify one more thing. The council is 7 members, if they were all here. And so your 25, does that
Yeah.
count the
It
council and us? Just like right now, there's
Right.
11 of us in this building.
We ran into that
So
with that
that
broadcast.
means that you could only have, what have you got? Usually 4 there and 7, 11. You could only have 14 people in here.
In media, so realistically, we'll have to contact the media ahead of time and let them know one member only per agency.
That's, I think, the thing to do is just prioritize media, people that have agenda items.
Right.
And and then accept comment and question via electronic means after the meeting and try and address it at the next meeting.
And there's still the possibility, Mike, that even though it's set for the 19th, that it changes because, I mean, it's public knowledge, our trend is going up. And it states that if counties see an upward trend, we're going to have to tighten things down. So, it's not going down.
No,
Well-
you're fine.
No, but nobody can hear you on the recording back there. Need to get together in some form to discuss the what ifs, because I know we're all doing it. We've been doing it. Judy's in tune with our association nonstop. You're sitting on those calls. I'm reading the emails that come in. I have Zoom call anxiety. But I know Lisa is working with Calissa. Lisa Spence is working with Calissa to do a projection right now. Have you seen that report yet?
Yeah.
I haven't seen it. But we were on a call with the governor's staff last Friday,
Thursday.
and they said expect to see finite projections in 90 days. So, I mean, it's just coming down. It's nonstop. Larry, or Judy and I and Brad have been working with Larry to figure out what we're going to do for 2021 on roads. Our seasonal employees, we haven't hired anybody. So is that a financial advantage to us? There are just so many things that we all need to sit around and talk about.
Well, the uncertainties are the dates. And this is what we're concerned with right now.
Should have hung out with us on Friday afternoon.
And when you get these dates, then you can start to make some determinations.
Right.
To become more realistic. So I don't have any, and that's, and council, again, I was not going to try to promote any decision, but I'd like to have that discussion. And with my council members, there's some of them that, and I know we're working on these things, but these numbers keep changing as these dates change and
Right.
they move out, and you don't open up your hotels and you don't open up your restaurants, and you don't,
Well, your food and beverage revenues sunk.
that's minor.
Yeah.
And and we don't know. There's a lot of things we don't know. We don't know if there's state aid. Supposedly they're supposed to be, but until at least we could have some kind of a discussion and do some what ifs,
Sure.
and then as we are given these dates, as the governor gave us these dates, and you guys gave us this dates, then we can start to make some true projections. I don't think we can make any projections until we know the dates we've got to work on. But maybe they're going to extend that, and we won't have to come up with a budget this year.
Michael, can he not,
That may be true.
for discussion purposes, can they not have a phone conversation as long as there's it's just like an executive session, just an informational executive discussion
Amongst themselves.
amongst themselves? They could do it
I
like
think
on
they
our
can.
conference phone. Mike could come in here on the phone, get everybody else.
I thought the
All
open
in.
door exclusion does allow that because
I
that,
thought that was the exception during
Right.
this
Well, I mean,
pandemic thing.
I haven't seen any changes to the executive session law. I'm not
No,
saying
where was
that
that?
this would, it seems like that it would fit some of the exceptions for an open meeting in the executive session law, but I would want to confirm that and
Right.
confirm that Mr. Effner agrees with that.
Right.
But I know definitively that you can have a public call where all members of the council are available on the phone, can even be with video, and the public can join in that as well and listen to the entirety or whatever portion of that conversation they want to listen to. And other elected officials can join in that. But to do it in person, I think you're talking about subsequent to May 18th, if you're letting the public be involved in person. But I know without question, the council could have an informational meeting where the public can join in it. That can be set up. And the media listened and votes were recorded. I mean, it was an official meeting during this that was provided by law during this crisis.
But what we need to work on though is to see if we can have a gathering with all of us together to discuss
Yeah.
this. Can we make that a project the next couple of days?
I don't think we.
A joint session for like the council, the commissioners,
Have
Jim
to
can
all be
give
on the
us a full
phone.
report as far as what we need to do and what we're gonna.
And I can look at the executive session and see if Bob and I can.
Well, you know, it's, again, it's an uncertain thing, and it's unique times. Trying to circumvent anything is. That's, you know, so past this essential business or these items, specific items to vote on, you know, I'd just like to go around the council and say, hey, what do you think?
Yeah.
And have a little time with the people to express their minds. No. And because I'm just not getting, again, with the uncertainty of dealing with this, I think that the interaction would help all of them.
Yeah.
Help all of the people.
It's not, I mean, whatever I can do, whatever we can do to help facilitate that, I'm happy to undertake that, because it needs to happen. It's the, you know.
You haven't contacted each one of the council members to get an opinion
Opinion about what?
about meeting? I mean, what?
No, Cliff's been coordinating it. All I did was set up the 12th. And as it was set on the schedule, it was published and go ahead with it. Mm-hmm. And that was tentative directives from the past order from the governor, and we thought we could have it and go ahead with it. Again, I don't really want to press this threshold of essential. Mm-hmm. I just don't want the argument's sake for it. It's just not worth it. Mm-hmm.
So
I think
for Calissa, the other council members then think the 19th is the date for you guys?
Well, you're still working on it, right? 12th or the 19th? For the 19th, yeah. And that was due to this. We can have some public in here. Your offices will be reopened, and we can do that. And again, this was just so that we could have a regular meeting, not dance around this essential thing, and say, you know, what are you thinking? And ask. Jim will be here, and I was thinking about having the Nancy come in and give a treasurer's report, maybe on how revenues are coming in. You know, she's had meetings with the. I just don't. You know, then we can come back hopefully in June. And yeah, I mean, it's just simple things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I'm understanding you correctly, I think the 19th is
Yeah.
when you could do in person
Yeah.
what you're talking about.
Yeah.
For sure. No.
You ready to move out on the parking lot?
Hey, one county council and commissioners meetings were out on the lawn. I just saw it on.
Well, that's fun.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully it's in Corydon.
So what would be the repercussion if we moved out on the parking lot that night?
There wouldn't be.
Mm-hmm.
No, because movie theater
Yeah.
or drive-in theaters are allowed to be open.
I thought they closed it
Drive-in theaters?
unless they just opened it because that one up north opened
Well,
and they ran.
allowed. They're allowed. I mean, I can double check because I have it pulled up here.
They may be allowed now in this second round.
Well, maybe you guys could give us a break on the 19th and say if we had 26 people, we might be okay.
I still can't go camping yet. Darn it. Back on track.
Yeah, Sharon's got a birthday today.
Happy birthday. Yeah, but that way you can at least tell the people that you really didn't want to go in the first place. Say, oh, I forgot, we're broadcasting live right now, aren't you? Tammy, you want everybody to go there, don't you? Yes.
I think this is, I think we're bringing light to some of these things, and we can only split the hair so many times, but I think in this situation, personally, this is the thing that's most disappointing is
Celebrations or
Yeah.
anything. Region 1 from high school that are graduating, we can't celebrate, and that just
these are
aggravates
very,
me to
very,
death.
these are years in the planning.
Yes, right. And they're very devastated, and they all realize the danger and all that about the virus. They all understand that, but it doesn't keep them from being devastated. That they,
It's not a
12 years of their life. Is
an
not gonna-
invisible thing is not it's hard to justify for, like say, all these years of planning.
Mm-hmm.
But and so that's why I say I don't. I just feel it a good discussion, and then that's a start. And hey, we might call a meeting for the next week, and come back with some ideas or something like that. Again, like Brendan mentioned, get together with this department or that. The commissioners certainly. You guys are maneuvering a lot of different things and changing priorities on and again. This is the thing. I come into work every day and plan my next day. And the next day I do the same thing because it's changed.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
This is no one's fault. It's no one's not doing their duties. It's changed. So the uncertainties, I don't really want a big decision-making process, but just, now we have some dates. If we meet these guidelines with the infections and et cetera, I guess, then we can continue to move on. I think people, I just go on pretty good swing. I have friends in business that this has just been devastating to, and we all have. And again, to your granddaughters, it's
Yeah.
you can't make it up. That's the problem.
She said, there's my 4 years. She got her box from ISU, the one over in Greensburg. She got her box from ISU with all of the stuff in it.
Mm.
Yeah, she says, 4 years in this box. Yeah. They just can't help it.
I
So
know.
we're going to do this on the 19th then,
think-
unless something's.
So that's what we came around to. I've just been
Okay.
letting Calissa and Bob and open door policy people in Indianapolis and what have you come back and forth with this. And that's what I wanted to do, Jim. We conduct that business. It's not earth shattering. And, if it didn't get done for another month, as far as I was concerned. But I want them to start thinking about revenues and that kind of thing. And there's a lot of things that you don't think about in this deal that have been touched. And I thought maybe with all the diversity of the group, why they could start to bring some
Oh, with the council?
things to the rest
Yeah.
of us that said, well, I didn't think about that.
The selling of the Hydrite property.
Thank you.
Thanks,
That's what
Mike.
he's talking about.
I can't hear him.
The two things they have are both with us.
Yeah.
Hydrite and the $5 million appropriation for the jail.
And those aren't essential things.
I mean, they haven't.
Okay.
Just for clarification, drive-in theaters may be open as of the 4th. May the 4th be with you. Which they should have all opened up with the Star Wars movie on May 4th. For those of you that are Star Wars fans, that's a really good joke, right, Scott? Yeah, so that's my indicator that we've probably been doing.
Because the issue was that everybody was rushing up to the concession stand, you know, no mask, no this and that. So they did close them that one night, I know.
When was this?
I don't know, it was on the news.
Well, in this current phase, they're allowed to be open.
Using bathrooms and all those kind of things, disinfecting bathrooms after everybody used them. There was a big issue on it, so I
I've
don't know
talked
how
to
they're dealing
several-
with it.
I've talked to several shopkeepers. They are not going to open their businesses. They don't feel comfortable. They think it's too early, and so they're making their own decision. So again, just because this is allowed doesn't mean they are going to do it.
No, you're right.
Yeah. But please, I wish my barber would open up, and Jim, you too.
Well, they're
bless.
open today, aren't they?
I can get my dog groomed. Larry and I, we're going to go get our hair cut, aren't we? And when they say haircut, that's a real thing for you, right? Hair, that one that's up there. I kind of wish I was bald right now.
Yeah, Monday,
By
that's
appointment
right.
only,
But
yeah.
by appointment.
But you can get your dog groomed right now. Right. Maybe I'll just go in there going,
Yeah, but Rosie couldn't get in till the 12th, so she's legal.
President Pro Tem, can we wrap this meeting up before I say something I shouldn't while we're on camera?
Yeah.
Because we're getting in a goofy phase.
If we have nothing else, we will see you next time. Thank you.
Thanks.